is a very, very lazy... I was gonna say Friday. It's not Friday. It's a very lazy Saturday afternoon. Anyway, I had to make a video and I had no idea what to do. I had a very, very late night last night and I only came home at like 10 in the morning. So I've been working non-stop for weeks and weeks and weeks. I just needed a little let my hair down and just have fun. You can only be serious for so long before you need to just pull that hair scrunchie out, wave your hair over, and just let loose. Anyway, I put my head on the pillow, closed my eyes, and then the sound of this immense, giant drill and hammering seemed to be trying to penetrate my skull. I forgot that they're doing construction next door and they like to work Fridays. No, why am I mixing Fridays up with Saturday again? Oh God, I need sleep. They like to work Saturdays and Sundays in the mornings, not the afternoons, in the mornings. Anyway, as I am not going to sleep because it is the day and I can't sleep in the day, it's just... I thought I would record this video right now, and I didn't really want to have lots of complicated editing to do, so in case I messed anything up and put out some rubbish, so I decided it might be just a little bit simpler, just a little bit simpler, just a little bit, if I did a whispered ramble. It's been a little while, I think, since I've done one of these. Some people like them, some people don't. They don't do as well as my more layered, more regular content, but never mind. They can be just as relaxing. And then I was left with this question. What shall I talk about? My brain isn't working very well today. And recently I've been thinking about something. So I thought maybe I should talk about it. I've never spoken about it on this channel ever. I rarely speak about my sexuality ever. I rarely ever speak about it. I don't hide it. Everybody knows I'm very upfront. But it's just not something I speak about unless I know you. In real life, you know. Friends, acquaintances and such. But anyway, it's been nearly 5 minutes. I decided to talk about what I've been thinking about for a little bit now. You know, I see these TikTok videos about people coming out and they're crying and weeping and there's all kind of commotions. And I've been thinking, oh, that's why. I mean, for instance, when I came out, finally, after a very long time, very, very, very long time of denying, running as fast and as far away as I could from those gay thoughts. You know that my family, see, with Tom Cruise, you can't catch me, gay thoughts, you can't catch me, gay thoughts. Yeah, that was me. You can't catch me, gay thoughts. Oh no, but look, women exist. Oh no. No. Gay thoughts, no. When I came out, I didn't cry. I wasn't very emotional at all, actually. I was nervous. I was anxious, of course. It's a big thing to say. I grew up and am surrounded in my family with straight people. I grew up in a very straight, working class, socialist town. I grew up there, and there's everyone. You know, and you grow up, you date people of the opposite sex, you get in trouble, you go to prison a little bit, and then you get a baby mama or something, and then you get married and you have children, and sometimes you'll get divorced and have more. It is what it is. Anyway. It's a bit daunting to step away from that. It's a bit daunting, to feel a little bit like standing alone, because you experience something that those people around you, those people you know, the people who love you, they can't ever understand. And that's okay. That's okay that they can't. That's okay that they can't. But when I did come out, it was a very long time coming. Looking back at my childhood, I can't pinpoint the exact moment when things started to get a little bit, I don't know. I remember a time when, wait a minute, that's not something that my friends were doing. My friends were getting crushes on boys, and I wasn't very impressed. No, I liked them as friends. I played football with them and sports, and I was the tomboy. I was always very active, very sporty. I loved sport. I still love sport. It's who I am. But I just not that way. And it's difficult. It's difficult, especially when you're a teenager and you're growing, your body is developing, you're maturing. And I had these breasts, and they got attention, and I didn't want that attention, didn't want the attention, and there was nothing I could do, really. There was nothing I could do. Anyway, I remember little moments. I think memories begin from when I was about 8. Looking at a girl in my class, saying, well, she's pretty, she's cute. Did I have a crush? Was it a crush? I think it was a crush, actually. But you don't say it. Because, I do remember this one time, there were these two girls in our class. It must have been about 8 or 9. And, they were really close. They were like the best of friends. And there was these rumors going around that they were more than friends, and they kissed. It's really dramatic for 8 or 9-year-olds, but I swear this happened. And there was all kinds of rumors, and they were called all kinds of names, and I did not want to have those names. I did not, so I kept stum. Were those only rumors? Yes. Both are married now with children. Married to men. Anyway, not that matters. The very first moment I can pinpoint as a time when maybe it began to show. I remember it so vividly. It was the night or the evening after the 1998 World Cup. France had just beaten Brazil in spectacular fashion, and everyone, the football world, was just agog, just devastated. Everybody had their eyes on Brazil, and particularly Ronaldo, like the god of football at the time. Brazil, that team had so many footballing giants, but Ronaldo was the one. The night before, he'd had a medical event, and he wasn't originally scheduled to be on the list. But at the last minute, they put him on the list, and he just didn't play well, understandably. And France won. France just outplayed Brazil. It was a bit like when Germany beat Brazil. Was that in 2014, I think, maybe? What a game that was. Anyway, the football had ended. It was over. And there was a show on at the time. It was called London's Burning. It was a drama about a fire station and the firemen and women in it. And there was one female firefighter. Just one. I don't remember seeing her in it before. If I did, I didn't pay attention because my father watched the show and I just didn't like it. Well, this one night, I was still hyped up from the game, from the World Cup. I mean, a little bit sad that the whole tournament was over, but still. So I'm watching the show London's Burning. I'm watching London's Burning. And there she is. I think the character's name was Sam, but I could be wrong. Anyway, she was played by an English actress called Heather Peace. And I don't know what it was about her, but she just caught my attention. And I remember that moment. I've always remembered that moment. And then every time I saw her in something else over the years, from that moment, I made a point to watch it. I made a point because there is something about that woman and her facial structure and the way she carries herself. And listen, when she plays a cop, when she plays a detective, oh my god. Anyway, through my childhood years and my teenage years, mainly my teenage years, my interest or focus would be on like a singer or an actress, something like that, safe places where I didn't have to encounter them, I didn't have to meet them, they were there on the screen, so I never had to interact with them, they were safe. But that's not to say that I didn't have crushes on girls in my school, because I did. And the longest one, oh jeez, it was in a girl in the year above me. What was her name? Kaylee, I think. chair. Probably the only time that I've ever sat in that school auditorium for ages, watching anyone prance around on stage, and I was blissfully happy because she was on the stage. Anyway, as she was a year older than me, she left. When I was in my last year, she was gone, so that was a bit sad. But anyway, the first actual, real life crush. And that was safe as well, because I never spoke to her. She never spoke to me. No, she never spoke to me. I never spoke to her. I admired her from afar, from afar. I was a teenager, leave me alone, okay? I was a very lost, lonely, troubled teenager. I had all this going on in my head, but I had other things as well, the family matters. I didn't need the extra commotion going on in my head. And, when you're in school, or when you're around your friends, you hear the jokes, you hear the names they call, gay women, and I didn't want to be those things. I was nothing. I just didn't want to be that. And if you watched any TV or anything at the time that had sapphic representation, the portrayals weren't very flattering. They always made the gay women look like, I don't know, abnormal, not normal. It was strange. But so throughout these teenage years, I had this secret crushes on these real life girls, and then I was, like for instance, the Backstreet Boys were big at the time, so everyone had their favorite Backstreet Boy, and everyone's favorite Backstreet Boy was Nick Carter, right? But then other girls would like, Brian or something, and they'd be looking at me, and I'd be like, oh shh, who do I say? Who do I say? And I don't know why, but I always picked the more weird, the more mature looking of the band. So I always said, oh yeah, definitely, Kevin. Oh, isn't he hot? Yeah, Kevin. I don't know. When really, I was very invested when Britney came on. So that was that. When Britney came on. Britney, bitch. I had to do that. I'm so sorry. I had to do it. It's a really boring coming out story, isn't it? But sometimes coming out stories, they aren't filled with, they're not filled with exciting events and pivotal moments and great romances. They really aren't. Sometimes they're just filled with incidents and repression, and that's very much what mine was. For a long time, I just pushed it down, and then I grew into adulthood, and that's exactly what I did. I kept very much to those safe things. Movies, TV. The very first time that I saw a woman naked was I can't remember the name of the blinking film now. Anyway, it was an Eva Green film, okay? And it was Eva Green. I was 17 or 18. Because while I was, interested, I was too afraid to go and search for these things out. I was terrified. I didn't want to admit this. Are you kidding me? I didn't want this. I wanted to be, as I perceived, normal. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be like my friends. I wanted to get a boyfriend. I wanted to, I wanted to be normal like everybody else. I didn't want this. Didn't want it. I can't stress to you enough how much I didn't want it. I pushed it way down, and I forced myself to do things that I didn't want to do. I forced myself. depression, and yeah, I couldn't really do a lot of stuff, and so I just stopped forcing myself to do those things. I'm not going to go into detail about what those things are, but I stopped myself. In this, I haven't gone into the darker aspects of things, because I don't want to. It's supposed to be an ASMR video, and I don't really want to reveal those kind of personal things. But anyway, so a pivotal moment for me was when my nephew was born, and he lived in the same house I did, and I looked after him a lot. We became very close, and when he was 6 or 5, there was a split in the family, a big drama, and I lost him. We were very close, and it really sent me back to those days where I just couldn't even leave my bed. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. And I turned to something that I turned to my whole life when things were hard. The only place I could really confide in, the only place where I felt safe to put my thoughts and feelings and emotions, the only place that I knew I would be understood, and that was in my writing. And that's when, at that moment, that's when I decided to, do it. Do it. Do what you love. Live your life, because I didn't want to be 70, sat on a chair and regretting I never tried. And that's basically how I live my life now. It may hurt and it may feel really, really bad, but I will try because I don't want to regret. I don't want to risk never trying and losing something that I want. So I began writing, and as I began writing, over time I began leaning into more sapphic things. I began to feel a little bit more free, a little bit more liberated. And there were these people who were reading my stuff, and I don't know, it felt like liberating, like I said. That's basically how because once I accepted myself, once I fully accepted myself, it didn't matter who didn't. No matter who they were, didn't matter to me at all, really. You can live your life for somebody else, and if that's what you want to do. But those people have lived their lives, they're living their lives. And I was so unhappy. I was so unhappy. Watching, family members, cousins, brothers, sisters get married, have children. Get divorced, get married again, have more children. And that I was just forcing myself to be alone and sad and just lost. Forcing myself to stay locked up in a corner even when I wanted to fly free and just... So, once you accept yourself, no one can stop you. No one. And there's no amount of words that have ever been shouted at me. Nothing. Because in my job, I've had some homophobia over the years. I've had some pretty bad homophobia, okay? But I just laugh because I don't care. I was someone so afraid to admit something about themselves. But then again, admitting it and coming out. But then actually trying to find someone that's the hardest bit, okay? That's the difficult bit. And I see like straight women say, I complain about dating men, but how it would be so much easier if they were into women and they were lesbian. It would be so much easier. No, it's not. I love women, but dating women is hard. Especially as I seem to attract a type that just really enjoy, no, that's the wrong thing to say, troubled, and yeah. Anywho, I grew out of my desire to play white knight. I grew out of it. And that's basically the story. No big reveal, no parties, no crying on videos on TikTok. In a way, I can understand why people do those kind of things. It must be a relief, right, to publicly admit who you are, and I think a lot of it is that I'm a very different person. I keep a lot of my feelings bottled up, and until I know you, until we're, close, as in friendship or something like that, you're not gonna know anything about me. It's a protection mode. I'm very, my walls are high, and they get higher with each new heartbreak, like most people. I am kind of talking to someone or getting to know someone. That's always scary for someone like me, because I overthink everything. I step on a bug and I'll overthink it. I overthink everything in my life. And then when it's like something like that, instead of sitting there in the moment and enjoying it for what it is, and then, letting whatever happens, I think too much. So I start to see, I don't see the good things. Like, this could turn into something, like this could be a thing. No. I see the bad things that will happen, even though they may not happen. I'm one of those people. I overthink every single little detail, and I catastrophize it. I'm kind of self-aware enough to keep it inside and not really trouble the person I'm talking to, so they never know. But yeah, when you're dating people, that can be a little bit of an obstacle that I myself put in place.